Hello. We are at a lower angle today with the tripod because I adjusted it for the bed yesterday and I did not adjust it back, and I was like, how would we look if we do not put the tripod back up high? So we will try this new angle. And I am just going to be very upfront with you and say that I'm not going to be cooking today at all. All we're going to be doing is washing and cutting that pineapple that you see over there on the counter. I will be cutting it up for Grandma. That way I don't have to do it tomorrow morning. I have had, I guess, relatively speaking to my contemporary life, a busy week so far, and it will be busy tomorrow too. I will be going into Manhattan tomorrow for an errand, and I just want to reserve my energy because I have had a very difficult time holding myself to the same standards ever since COVID. And maybe even before COVID happened. I don't know. There's just been a lot of change, and we're going to roll with it. And I think for the last week, I've discovered that my new energy threshold is very low, and I'm going to do all that I can to work with it for now, because otherwise I'm just going to be working against it being myself, and that never really ends well. So I'm going to work with myself as best as I can, and we're just going to be cutting up a pineapple. And if we decide that we want to talk about anything in particular, we can. I'm going to leave it organic as always. I know that quite a few of you raised your hand in the community poll asking whether you would want to participate in a chat-based one-on-one or one-on-two discussion on a live stream. I'm totally open to doing that even today. If anybody is in the audience today who did raise their hand to participate voluntarily in that kind of a, discussion, it would be basically like co-facilitating a discussion of topics that you yearn to talk about. And obviously I'm the only one like physically talking, you would be typing. So the dynamic is a little bit skewed, but I'm happy to start that whenever. I have just not been good at planning a lot of things that are not entirely urgent, and those lives are not entirely urgent in my life. I hope you understand. But I do think it's a fun idea that I would like to explore. So here we go, pineapple cutting time. Do you like this new angle? Do you like it being lower? Is it more conducive to seeing everything that's happening or not? Not sure. We're more eye to eye now, you know? I look taller. Yeah, hero angle. IDKY, but this angle reminds me more of your old place. Interesting. Plans for the pineapple is to cut them up, put them in the fridge, get them ready for Grandma consumption. Not consuming Grandma, but rather for Grandma to consume. If that was unclear to anybody, let me clarify that. I do not plan on eating Grandma. I do not think she will be very good eats at this point in her life, but that's just me. I'm sure somebody out there. Oh no, I'm missing a Yeah, we are hitting the ground running with cannibalist talk. Um, it's a bit moldy on the underside, but I think once we trim it off, we're good. As you know, I tend to keep the core for myself since it's probably a little too tough for grams. Now we begin to put them into containers for her. Pineapple is one of her favorite fruits. It's a little tart, a little sweet. It's got texture, but it's still soft. Hopefully she likes this one. You never know. Sometimes she loves some things, and then the next time you give it to her, she doesn't like it anymore. Grandma is a sincere food critic, honestly, I think. Maybe I get my chops from her. Quite picky. Have I been missing any comments? Guys, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this, but I can't do budget eats anymore. So you can stop pitching the ideas now. It's very sad for me. But yeah, we're going to have to pivot. sad and not sad. I'm personally ready to move on, so. If you saw the lives, I've basically already done a fridge tour. If you wanted an edited condition as a edited video, I'm not keen on doing that as a standalone video. I think those are kind of like, I don't know, they're just pointless to me. It's like creating a lot of hype over nothing at all. So I just show it to you on a live. Because like what's in my fridge literally changes every day. Depending on my depression, depending on my COVID, depending on whether or not I have vegetables, if I even bought them, depending on whether or not I ate my vegetables. Did I cook some random shit? What are the leftovers? What are the mush? So it's just like, by the time I edit that video and put it out, it's like not accurate to what's in my fridge anymore, you know? I think a lot of the shows that try to capture ephemeral things to make them seem permanent are what bother me existentially. Because it's creating this fake illusion of stability and constancy and reliability when there literally is none in life. Which is probably another one reason, besides my general tiredness of doing edited stuff, that I prefer to do these lives, because I'm not beholden to a singular constant reality in these lives. I'm free to change myself and my food every day as I want, and I don't have to stick with a certain facet of reality longer than it is accurate for me. When I'm doing edited videos, for example, like the one that I'm trying to shoot on my own this week, it's like giving me kind of a whiplash, because I go into this very, how do I say this? I go into this very almost compulsive state where I try to capture everything so that it's real, quote unquote, so that it's accurate. And then I kind of fall into this cycle of like trying to make everything super accurate, and it becomes a burden for me to shoot it, you know? Because it's kind of like an Ouroboros. Like, I kid you not, I wanted to eat a snack on this live. And then I was like, but no, if I'm doing a food diary for a week, then I have to film that. That's complicated. That's more work. So then that kind of disrupts the reality of the situation, because now I have to think about, do I want to film this? You know, like filming something that's supposed to be organic and natural by default changes the nature. So I want to do that to myself as least as possible. Especially because people know me for food videos now. It's not going to be as simple as like some vloggers where they're just like, hey y'all, I'm eating this now. I have to like show you how to make it. I guess I don't have to, but I feel like that's more of the June thing that people come for, you know? By making content, I am also making the self. And yes, the lives do change dynamics in my life too. But that's why I started doing the lives, because I wanted the lives to change my life dynamic, because I needed social activity, because I needed connections, because I needed a certain structure in my life. So it's self-imposed. Um, I love peeling the apple peel off in one piece. I love it. I like peeling it with a peeler too, not a knife, because I don't know how to use a knife. It terrifies me. You know what? I think I'll treat myself to a wedge of proper pineapple, since this one doesn't look like it'll fit in Grandma's container, and I've run out of lids. So this is Grandma's, and this is mine. I will call this commission for my work. 4 pieces of proper pineapple. Huzzah, we did it! Pineapple for Grandma. So I'll just update you on a little bit of my life. Today I continue to shoot my food diary video, second day, and I also went over to Aaron's apartment in Woodside and saw Fred and spent about 5-ish hours there. Took a meeting with Wi-Fi, what a luxury, and edited some footage of the stuff that I shot yesterday, and it felt really nice and familiar, and but also different. The setup is different there now, and it's pretty obvious that nobody's cleaned the bathtubs for a month. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird when you return to a life that you still remember but have left. Oh, I need to clean this shit. So that's what I did today, and it felt nice to be quote unquote back at work again. It felt nice to have a routine for myself, a little to-do list that was manageable. I didn't go to the gym today because a lot of people told me on Instagram that I really shouldn't be exercising this soon after COVID, that increases your chance of getting long COVID, which I honestly feel like I'm already doomed to it. It doesn't feel like I will be escaping long COVID, honestly. But I guess in the meantime, I should just try to control myself and not go haywire with trying to become too active too fast, getting ahead of myself, all of that. That's part of the video. I guess you'll have to wait for the video. My sense of taste and smell has improved since the worst part of COVID. I can no longer be sure how much of it has returned to me because I don't really remember a point of comparison anymore. So I don't know. You know how things above your cooking station always gets greasy? Yeah, this microwave. And I will peel off this plastic eventually one day, guys. It's just a very Chinese thing to like not peel off the plastic. And I like to do it to annoy some friends periodically, but it will come off sooner or later. In the meantime, I will try to keep everything relatively clean. Hello. But yeah, do we have anyone in the chat who wants to have that one-on-one discussion or one-on-two discussion? If not, I might go to bed early tonight. I've been asked to write a short essay for my alumni magazine, so I have to take some time this week to brainstorm and send in a draft of that. Which is why I've been a little scatterbrained. Honestly, I just can't do that many things at the same time. I feel like for a couple of months now I've been drifting in life, and I've been very uncomfortable with that feeling up until recently, and I think my life is becoming normalized to the changes. My mom loved tinfoil, for sure. It's just to prevent the gunk from sticking on to the walls or the plastic surface. Not for anything else, it's just practical. We're very practical-minded people, to generalize. I've also noticed that I've gotten very lax about cleaning the stove. I used to do it after every cooking session, and now I do it like every 3 to 4 days, which might be good. I think maybe I used to be a little too uptight and never allowed myself any grace. And truly, a lot of things in life are not as important as I used to think they were. But no amount of anyone else telling you that will make sense. Just like when you have body image issues, no amount of other people telling you that you're enough and that you're beautiful and that you're fine will matter until you truly see it for yourself. And that takes time. I've also been thinking about the ways in which friends saying reassuring things to me have almost enabled me into a pattern of self-hate, because in a way you're kind of like Pavlov conditioning your brain to say, hey, if you display enough self-hate, your friends will give you external validation, and don't you want that external validation? clean one thing at a time. You don't have to make it perfectly clean, and you don't have to fix all the things. Just do the things that won't give you stress, that will reduce some of your anxiety about how much of a mess your life is, and do whatever it means to you to be kind to yourself. That is my current practice, is trying to be more kind to myself. So Pavlov untrained his dogs. Cool. Did he untrain them by Pavlovian training? I don't think I would be cleaning the stove at almost 10 p.m. if you guys weren't here. So I guess, thank you for being here. And for allowing me a space in which I can utter out loud thoughts that I have had trouble internalizing. And in the form of communicating to unseen others, I am also very much communicating it to my unseen selves. Amen. Have we all taken our vitamins? Tis my duty to remind you to take your vitamins. Do we like the half-headed June? Tell you what, I'm gonna grab some hand lotion and my jade roller, and I'll be right back. I'm back. Hello. So it's 9:51. I think I might go to bed in 10 minutes. But if there's anything y'all want to talk about, let me know. And y'all can discuss amongst yourselves, or I can chime in and lead, or whatever. I'm just here. The space is open. You do you. Hi, Ohio. I'm very excited. The more you oregano. I signed myself up to get 2 tattoos next week. Asteriski, the 1-on-1 or the 1-on-2 starts whenever I can coordinate with y'all participants, and it's gonna be on these live streams. It's the same format, but only I'm basically going to ask everyone to not chime in on the chat and only have the 1 or 2 people that we're having the combo with chime in. Hi, Missouri. Yeah, so I am getting 2 tattoos next week, and I signed up myself up for a 3rd in January with an artist that I've been eyeing for a year, and I've been feeling kind of guilty about spending money, mostly because I am not employed right now and I don't have a steady income coming in. But I also know for sure that I can afford it, and so I'm battling a lot of inner thoughts about this guilt. And in my mind, I'm trying to rationalize it, but really I don't need to, because, well, there's so many reasons. But 1, money is really fake. 2, Mom always told me that money isn't money until you spent it. 3, I just want to do something to my body to make me feel good. And 4, getting tattooed has helped me navigate my relationship with my body in a way where it displaces me and alienates me from it in a good way. It shifts my perspective about what my body is, and the way that tattoos live on the skin make me view my body more as a canvas for display rather than a consumable entity, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of my body image issues definitely stem from media perpetuated ideals, like it does for a lot of people, but I think, a lot of it is like acquiescing to the so-called male gaze. And I think about the ways in which I've guilted myself about putting on weight and not looking a certain way, and how that's heightened whenever I'm trying to get male attention. And the way that I have perceived my body to be this like thing to be manipulated in order to earn me attention has been very unpleasant, and very antagonistic of a relationship to have with something so close to me all the time. That getting tattoos allows me to exist in this body from a different angle. And I really wonder who I would be if I didn't care about the way other people perceived me and my features. And I wonder how it became this way, that the default is to not like my body. It always seems like I'm asking my body to serve me rather than me serving my body. And yeah, I understand. After getting tattoos, you will feel bad about your body again. It's the same thing with plastic surgery. Your focus shifts, right? You feel like you don't like your nose, you get a nose job, and then you don't like your cheeks, you get injections, so on and so forth. It is ego. And today we had our closing session of our first course of farm school, and I I maybe agree with that, but I also don't agree because I've met a lot of men who are very concerned with their looks and they're constantly talking about getting abs or dieting or getting fit or, feeling fat. And I think it is gendered in the weight of importance for those genders, but I don't think it's gendered in that I think this image perception and self-criticism exists for everybody because, like, as they say, the patriarchy affects everyone, not just women, right? Like, men kind of suffer under it too. It's just the general framework that kind of imprisons us all. So, as far as tattoos changing my view of my body, is it temporary? Yeah, all things are temporary. Your relationship will shift, but that's not to say that I'm not going to take the first step towards even having a small shift. I don't mean for it to like change my entire life all within one or two or even 5 or 6 tattoos. I'm just saying this is one step to take that will facilitate me holding my body in a different way. So yeah, I just want everybody to be okay with who they are. And we had our closing session of our first course at farm school tonight. The first course is called Training of Trainers. And the whole idea of farm school is that you learn these principles and skills and techniques and metacognition of what it means to learn and to facilitate learning. And you are, in a way, expected, not enforced, but expected to pass on the knowledge in some way, shape, or form. And today we had kind of like a general course feedback session where everybody shared glows and grows. And glows are the moments where you had experienced aha moments where you felt like you learned something or something changed in you that made you really appreciate the course or yourself or the process. And grows are areas in which you've identified to be topics or habits or focuses that you want to work on changing and improving on. And it was like a really emotional class because everybody was so open to sharing their personal experiences, and quite a few people said that the whole teaching dynamic and learning dynamic that's inherent in farm school is so conducive to us feeling like we are enough, right? And this is something that I've seen on memes on social media, on Instagram. But it's one thing to see it in a meme and understand what the words are saying. And I think it's slightly different to experience a whole educational framework centered around the learner and the learner's experience. And through that way, indirectly telling you that, hey, you might not have the knowledge we will get to learn eventually in this course, but you have your knowledge. And we live under a system where it prioritizes one strain of knowledge over other strains of knowledge. And through that prioritization and validation by the societal framework, we are then relegating our own forms of different knowledges to the back burner, and they become unofficial, unrecognized, and forgotten, and disparaged even. So the way that farm school has changed the way a lot of people have been thinking about not only educational frameworks, but the way in which we perceive ourselves and hold ourselves, in which we are empowered to feel like we are authorities on some things, not all the things, but that we all have something to contribute, was like pretty lovely. But yeah, that's all I have to say. It's 10 p.m. You want to go to sleep? This feels nice. I haven't seen season 2 of White Lotus yet. I've heard great things about it, but I don't have HBO Max. So please spell out your course you're taking. It's just called Farm School. I think it's called New York City Farm School, spelled all the conventionally dictionary ways. I'm glad you think this is entertainment. Hello, Melbourne. Farm School. FARM. But also, I think sometimes shit just happens in life and there's no reason for it. But we can make reasons from them and from our experiences. It's not inherent, it's not a given, but it is a sort of choice if you have the resources to do so. Free Patreon content. My entire life has been free Patreon content. Come on, y'all. Come on. I'm just learning about social justice informed urban farming. I don't know what I plan to do with it. Maybe the purpose will unveil itself through the experience of participating in the school. That's kind of what's magical about this, is that everybody's sharing what they can share, and sometimes that means resources, both personal and institutional, and it's a very collaborative learning experience. And some people are already involved in farms or small businesses or schools, and it all intersects together, and we can make projects happen together, you know, but it will take time for us to think it through. And make things happen. Just imagining a slightly different world. I too think communication should be free when possible. That's why I said if I ever have a Patreon, I need to make very niche content, like shoe try-ons and stuff like that. Because I think the general stuff that people enjoy from me, which is talk, discussions, really loosey-goosey BS non-recipe recipes, and general cooking, and just general silliness, I think is not gated content. I think gated content should be those who elect into specific interests, you know? So that's why I keep joking about being an asexual sex worker. I asked Aaron, I was like, do you think making feet videos constitutes sex work? And he's like, if somebody's jerking off to it, then it's sex work. And I was like, I agree. So, you know, thinking about it. Yeah, public broadcasting route. Totally. Um, and like, I'm still waiting to buy that pair of Birkenstocks that several of you have funded. So thank you again for those lovely donations. Um, I'm also asking Aaron to slowly order parts for him to build me my own desktop so that I could edit content from the comfort of my own empty apartment. So that'll happen hopefully by March or April, depending on when the parts come. But in the meantime, I'll go over to his apartment to edit. And I don't know, maybe I'll have a completed long form video for y'all by January? Happy New Year to us? I'm hoping, if nothing bad happens to me and sets me back 20 steps again. Public broadcast is constantly in dire straits. I mean, listen, here's the thing, right? In this current framework that we're in, you are either always struggling by trying to do the right thing, or you are skating by with a shit ton of income churned by other people for you. It's very hard to not exploit people while making good money. This doesn't make sense, but for me though, I don't really need very much. Unless our whole economy crashes, then like who the fuck gives a shit? But if it stays relatively this way, then I won't need very much to stay afloat. So I'm fine with keeping the content I've been keeping on here completely ungated, and I'm simply thinking about what else I can supplement in terms of content to supplement my income. Yes, technically everything can be sex work, for sure. There is no physical school, farm school. It's just called farm school. Currently, most of the classes are on Zoom, and starting in the springtime, at the end of January, we will start to have field work where we go to different urban farms throughout the city for hands-on learning experiences. But as far as a physical school, I'm not really sure if there's one centralized institutional brick and mortar. You did fun to start a cult, but can I use it on my shoes? Can I abuse your funding? I don't really know how to start a cult. I mean, I think I already have one. It's just a very nice, friendly cult where you can leave anytime, and I try not to do too much psychological abuse on you. Just a little bit is fine, as seasoning. I agree. I think that we separate sex work out from work is still holding on to the old taboo of prostitution is illegal and wrong and immoral, you know, which is stupid because obviously there's been an audience for it, there's been clientele for it for a very long time, and you know, how can you call something that you fully enjoy doing immoral? And until you hurt somebody, why? And we're not talking about sex trafficking there because that's just a complete abuse enacted by one party upon another. But we're talking about like consensual sex work. Why is that taboo? Thank you for the MacBook offer. I think I'll be fine. Aaron has all of my files on his desktop and he's very willing to let me use that computer whenever he's away at work. So, can you fund a tattoo? You can fund anything, girl. I'll take your tattoo money too. But you can't choose a tattoo. That's taking it a little bit too far. I still reserve the right to choose what goes on my body in terms of a needle carving. I can do way better than feet. Why do we have to put a hierarchy into what's better and what's not? So tell me, in your opinion, then, what is better than feet? I would love to know. Um, Thank you, Miss Nicole. So kind. See, I'm so good at psychological manipulation. Like, everybody's just willingly saying I can do whatever the fuck I want with their money. What more do I need to do? I've already got a cult. Deborah Matthews says, just no trauma dumping. Sharing of the life is welcome. I don't know how we separate that. Some people have a lot of trauma in their lives. I can't guarantee that that is a firm line we can hold. It's a constant negotiation of what we can and can't talk about. And in general, my ideal scenario is that we can talk about almost anything unless we are physically attacking someone through very abusive language. I consider very direct abuse with words to be physical sometimes. Like, I can feel the physicality of verbal attacks on my body. Yeah, but if people are cheating on their partners, then it's not the sex worker's responsibility. That's on the communication of the couple, man. Y'all gotta figure your shit out. The economy is getting better. Is it really? Is it a carving or just an ink deposit? I mean, you kind of have to carve into the skin to deposit the ink, no? So it's both, I guess? Can we choose among 3 options that you provide? That's interesting. You would pay to learn Chinese. From me, though, like, there's already so many Chinese instructors out there. I'm not even fully literate in Chinese. So, I mean, I would pay for one-on-one conversations in Mandarin Chinese. Like, I would accept payment for that if you need a conversation buddy. I feel like that would be a very niche category that people might actually want my services for. One-on-one interactions to give you friend advice, one-on-one interactions to give you Mandarin Chinese conversation dialogues, practice speaking and hearing, all of that good stuff. I'm sure there's more. I can provide one-on-one, cooking hotline help, like guide you through a specific item you've always wanted to cook. I don't want to do a Zoom workshop though. I really do enjoy the one-on-one dynamic. I find that my attention is better spent on one person at a time. If we do multiple people in a cooking workshop, I really feel like it has to be in person. Otherwise, I would be so ineffective and overwhelmed in a Zoom. Nowco, oh my gosh, I can't help you win the lottery. I'm so sorry. Chinese is hard to learn for me. Yeah, all language is hard to learn for me. I really think I just need to be immersed. Chrissy Wong, you're just clapping back and everything, but in a friendly way. I appreciate it. In a way, this is a one-on-one because all of you are showing up on one screen. I don't have to be dividing my attention to different sources of the conversation. Even though there are different voices, it's all coming from one source. And in a way, you are all kind of reacting to each other's statements. So the various voices sometimes coalesce together into a singular organism, if that makes sense. A community, so to speak. But yes, I do believe I will get thee to bed now at 10:16. We are a collaborative multiple personality disorder. I appreciate your one-on-one contribution. And maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe I won't. Why am I rolling my face? I don't know. It's just something to do. Otherwise, I would just be staring at you and talking to you, which is worse, which is weirder. We'll never know. Have a good night. I'll see you when I see you. Have a good Thursday.